Welcome to the Wild Ass PodcASSt. Now, many of you may be wondering, now, that face doesn't look like Wild Ass Craig. And to be fair, it is not. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Scrubs, Alex Brown. I'm down here in South Carolina at the unofficial South Carolina headquarters, of course, self-entitled, of Wild Ass, here with a couple of pooch friends. But we're going to be doing something a little different today. As of episode 23, where I was interviewed by Wild Ass Craig, following our 2022 A.K.A. Journey and experience. I was thinking throughout the podcast, Craig, you're learning a lot about me, learning about a lot of other guests, but we haven't heard your story, and you haven't really shared that with our greater audience here, amongst all the Wild Ass fans out there and those that are a part of this mission and journey and your product lines. So when do we get to do that? So last, I guess it was right around the holidays, I was just back home from some military deployment time in the Middle East, and he came back around and said, "Hey, you remember that idea? Let's make that happen." So finally, after much needed coordination of schedules and some near misses along the way, we're finally going to do that here together today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in your host that you know the most, Craig Johnson, and welcome him to get us to start that discussion and let him tell us about his life, what brought him to the creation of this Wild Ass product and line and company, and share with us a bit about his journey, so we get to know him a little bit better as he gets to know all of us. So without further ado, I'll bring in the man himself, or he'll bring in himself, Wild Ass Craig.
Hey, that seems like you've been practicing.
Tried a little bit.
Hey, Scrubs, good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Welcome to your own podcast in the world of podcasting.
Now, I'm gonna have to figure out if this goes really well. If this is something we may venture out on, if I have the bandwidth. So yeah. Thanks for having me. Thanks for being willing to do this and share your story again. And we'll give a quick shout out too. You'd shared with me when we talked. I said, "Hey, so where could I go to learn more about you, so I know what to ask about?" And he had done a similar podcast, and we'll give out a shout out to Mr. Alan Carl with World Rider Journeys. They did that over December of 2021, so it's been almost 5 years since that podcast. Wow. You've definitely done some things, seen some things. Your company has continued to grow. But for those that haven't listened there, and all the other listeners, let's get into things. Understand you've always been a Minnesota guy, and your first experience with any sort of racing on anything was with your family and dirt track racing as a hobby, which led into other things. But yeah, tell us about that and how that kind of sparked this whole journey off.
I'm not really sure how that started, all of this, but once racing is in your blood, there's no getting rid of it. I believe that wholeheartedly, because the night, I don't know if you knew this, I don't know if I told you this in the past, but the night I was born, my mother had to leave the bleachers at the racetrack to get to the hospital. So yeah, it's you don't get much closer to racing than that.
No,
that was dirt track stock car racing that my family was into. Dad, both my uncles, heavy into race cars back then. My grandfather actually taught carburetor mechanics. Wow. Most people now don't even know what a carburetor is.
Right.
And my grandfather was an instructor, and I guess Dad picked up the carburetor talent because my Uncle Randy, so Dad's older brother, phenomenal mechanic. My Uncle Marty, phenomenal mechanic, both of them. And when they both have, either of those guys have any issues, it comes to my dad. So yeah. I'd have to say he's the expert, and I am an apple that didn't fall anywhere close to the tree. I'm a figure outer. not much in the mechanical ability.
Yeah.
But that's where it all started.
Yeah. I was going to say then again too, with how, I mean, your history and then to the development of Wild Ass, while it may not be like carburetors or like fine tuning engine mechanics and those little things, it still is a huge piece to body mechanics and comfort and rideability. And so there's still some things there. There's still some pieces there. It's a different kind of mechanics, but
Yeah.
and I guess being the organic mechanic that I am myself, working in the ER, I can appreciate it. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then so understand first bikes for you. I know you'd asked about mine, and I didn't get into riding until later in life, after some time in Afghanistan and with a moped at Fort Campbell. But go back to listen to episode 23 for more of that. Tell me about mini bikes and getting started on two wheels from the dirt track life.
So we had, so my parents owned like Champion Auto Stores. I don't know if that's even a thing anymore, but it's they had, the service bays in the back. They worked on the cars. The front part of the store was all auto parts, like a Napa Auto Parts, but with the service garage in the back, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what my family had here in town, and the towing service. And then that morphed into a car dealership, and somehow Dad brought home, I'm sure it was a trade-in. They called them hoops that had zero money into them. A little Honda QA50 would have been the first bike. And I have to say I was 8, maybe somewhere in there, so a little too big for it, but fine. So we had that little bike, and one of the go-kart tracks in town was closing up, and Dad and one of his buddies, they each bought one of these go-karts, and then us kids, we all got to rip around on those. So we had a dirt bike and a go-kart, kind of starting when I was about 8 years old. And I think, I don't know that I could count on one hand total years that I didn't have access to or own a motorcycle of my own, which mostly would be, the reason I didn't own it's probably because I was too young, but I've always had one ever since. And kind of in anything on two wheels. I love it.
Sure. That's awesome. I know I was put on my next door neighbor's dirt bike one time, and that didn't end well when I was a kid. So we didn't have that, but we did have, and maybe these are the same kind of go-karts, very low profile, not a roll cage, small engine on the back, probably 50 cc's or something, rip around the yard, do some fun stuff when I was a kid too. So yeah, definitely some pretty awesome memories from when I was a kid, but yeah, bikes though. So from there, from racing and being on two wheels and playing around with the mini bikes, you got your start kind of with a detailing job.
In my work life?
In your work life, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that was kind of the transition where you figured out and sorted out how, and you wanted to be part of that life.
That was kind of like the car, when I worked at the car lot, I was, I don't know, arguably too young for sales, still in high school probably. And, there's not much else to do. Actually, I wasn't even driving. I remember that. I didn't have a driver's license, and we were driving cars in and around the lot and pulling them in and washing them. So detailing's a pretty heavy term for it, when you're 12 to 15 years old, washing cars. And then maybe that's when the entrepreneurial spirit kicked in, because, once I turned 16 and I was able to drive on my own, I could also lock the building, and I would stay late and do deeper cleans on vehicles. And I don't even know, gosh, it probably was called detailing, but I don't remember. And I would stay late and make extra money. And then, by that point now at 14, 15, I think I was on a full-size dirt bike, and probably not yet racing at the time.
Yeah.
But out at gravel pits all the time, and, just needed gas money. So I would work late at night and clean cars and do all that until I had to get a real job, which actually my first one, I think, was Godfather's Pizza. I think that's still a thing somewhere, isn't it? Maybe, probably not.
I think it's a chain. I've seen it around in some random places before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. And that was a job that I didn't love, But
Yeah.
fortunately, I got fired, so I had to go find something else to do.
Oh, there you go. That first job though, you said it was to get gas money. So you were racing and doing motocross stuff when you were a younger guy,
Not,
I assume.
yeah, kind of just starting out, I think.
Okay.
Not, Dad was not a real fan of
Mm,
racing dirt bikes because, it's dangerous, right? You got to
yeah.
protect his boys.
Yeah.
So we kind of got talked into it by another local that, went to the races on and off. And at that point I had met the only other kid in my school that rode dirt bikes, and he
Sure.
started racing. So our dads kind of got together and said, okay, let's go try it. And
Yeah.
gosh, I don't remember. I think it was 1989. So I would have been 16 years old.
Okay. Yeah.
When my very first race ever.
Right.
And that was a dirt bike race. I was on a Yamaha YZ125.
Okay.
And it
Cool.
was in a little town just east of Mora, Minnesota, where the track is still there. They still race
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's a legacy for anything. Like I don't know too. Just thinking about the back to dirt tracks. We've got dirt tracks down here in South Carolina too, and just keeping those small town local events live and happening. There's turnover. There's things that happen, but just to have places like that for communities to still gather around cool sports and have those sorts of fun memories with family it's a hard thing to come by and to stay consistent.
Yep.
So so I guess that's kind of similar to what we're talking about. And maybe I don't know if you were able to share this on one of the Wild Ass Wednesdays that I might have missed recently. That track was probably really similar to the race that you just announced.
Well, not really.
Okay.
So motocross is typically outdoor big tracks. They're a mile long.
Okay.
And what I did here the other night was, God, when was that? That was a couple weeks ago now at the time. As of the time recording this.
Right.
That was probably a couple weeks ago, but it was a local fair right at the fairgrounds. They had a race going on, which was pretty cool because I don't know, we'll get into that later or not, but I actually used to run the Friday night racetrack up here. My ex-wife and I owned it, and we had races every single Friday night, just south of town. A lot of people, the people that were up here for Monster Week last week got to go see the place. It's now a zoo. So still chaotic, just different animals.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Friday night thing, that was at the fairgrounds, and it was a deal where, they come in and they build the track, and it's all a little bit smaller, and it's right in front of the grandstands, and, it's very high paced, which motocross is too. But when the track's a mile long, it gets pretty spread out. You can't see the whole track if you're sitting there watching. Sure. Where at the fairgrounds, you can sit in the grandstands and see it all.
Yeah, see everything.
So, a little different.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can get back into the entrepreneurial stuff and where things went from there. I understand you've worked for several different companies along and with motorcycling. I know you worked with Parts Unlimited for a time, for about 5 years, or Marshall, and then the spot that you loved significantly, or what I've heard about, is with Scott USA as well. Tell us about those different parts of the journey and what you were doing with these different companies and what you learned from those experiences.
Oh man, what I learned, that's going to be the hard part.
Oh yeah.
But the timeline in itself. So, we started racing, riding around here, and then my buddy and I, we started racing, and then we found a practice track, which was just west of town. And we went there, I would say 2 to 4 nights a week practicing. We took it pretty serious. We got, you start in the C class, quickly got out of there, made it to B class. And I think that was just a couple of years there. And we got up to A, expert, local fast guy thing. And at the practice track that we went to, the lady that lived there, it was, 15 yards out of their patio door.
Oh, wow.
Was the whoop section of the track. So
best seats in the house.
And they didn't ride. That was the crazy thing.
Wow.
Rob, the ex-husband, or the husband, I guess I say ex, that's terrible because he passed away. But he rode years ago, and the
Mhm.
guy that lived there before they did had this track, and they let us keep it maintained and ride there all the time. And we got to know them. They were great people. They loved the sport. Well, she worked at Parts Unlimited. They used to have an office here in town, and just got to know her. And she said, hey, Craig, we're looking for a sales guy. If you want, looking for somebody, it's on the phone, but
Sure.
You come to work. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. So, get through all the menial jobs and stuff leading up to this point. And I went in and applied for the job. And Bonnie at the time was my favorite boss, right? So, and it's funny, I got so lucky in order. I have my favorite bosses. So, Bonnie, she said, yeah, we kind of need somebody with some shop experience. I'm like, well, how do I was like, I get that? I don't know, So
Right.
I didn't get the job. I went to my sponsor in town and said, hey, Chris, I need to find a job. I'm looking for something to do here. He's like, man, we don't really have anything. And I said, well, you got a whole room full of four-wheelers and snowmobiles back there that are used, right? He's like, yeah. I said, why don't I clean those up? You'll get some more money out of them. And he looked at me like, you would do that?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I would do that. He's like, all right. He goes, what's it look like inside your car? And I went, what? He goes, if I go out and look in your car, what's it going to look like? I'm like, like the inside of an El Camino, because I think that's what I was driving at the time.
That's awesome.
And but my car was clean, right?
Yeah.
So that was it. Like, he was like, all right, you can start whatever, right? So I'm like,
sure.
So I started, and I mean, it was literally a 6-month job because another position opened at Parts Unlimited. And I loved working at Brothers. It was fun.
Sure.
You're with dirt bikes, four-wheelers, and that was my thing.
Yeah.
And I went back to Bonnie and I said, hey, I hear you're hiring. I said, well, I went out and got some experience. She was like, well, that's not really the experience I was looking for. I said, but you didn't specify. And I went and got experience. I basically talked her into hiring me. And I was there. I don't remember if it was 2 or 4 days short of 5 years. While I was there, I had applied for some other jobs inside Parts Unlimited.
Sure.
And they didn't work out, which was fine.
Yeah.
And there was another distributor called Marshall Distributing. That's one you had mentioned.
Right.
That it was very regional, very small here in the Midwest. Almost no presence in Minnesota. But they were hiring and they had a good starting base. So for 2 years, I had a guarantee while I built up the territory.
Right.
Did that for
over the phone, or were you actually?
No, I was on the road. Yeah. So my
road.
territory was basically from I-94 to Canada in Minnesota. So a lot of windshield time.
Yeah.
But I learned a ton. I did not like the job. Kind of got into it with one of my sales managers. Like there's your sales manager and then his boss. Well, his boss thought I should do something a little different. And I believe I said, well, I think you need to come out here and show me how that's done then. And I didn't work out. So, and to give you a little story, what they would do, and I think these companies still do this. So if you know a parts rep or, this is what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They'll take, I remember it at the time was $10,000 of a specific brand of motorcycle gear that was designed for sport bikes. Okay. I have BIR, Brainerd International Raceway, here in Brainerd.
Right.
Other than that, it's countryside.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys wear jeans, no helmet, sunglasses, shorts, flip-flops,
Right.
Race suits, not really their thing.
Sure.
So they just sent it. Like, here you go. And then they billed me for it. So I went out, I did my part, and I showed it to all my dealers, and kind of got the same response from most of them.
Yeah.
And when I was done, I sent it back. And they said, well, you can't send this back. I said, well, I did because you have it. And that's when I said, he was like, well, I thought you were a salesman. And I said, well, then that's when I said, if you can come out here and show me how to do it here, please.
Yeah,
and
please.
It didn't work. But it worked out actually perfect because ever since I first got into racing, I kind of wanted to do graphics.
Okay.
And I had kind of started like a half-assed graphics company. That would have been a good name for it, actually. But bought a vinyl cutter, and I was doing stuff in my garage and
Yeah.
just kind of my own stuff. And then that job, I got called and they said, "You're fired." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like I wasn't even sad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what to do. So
Yeah.
I made 2 or 3 phone calls, just some friends that I had made in the industry.
Sure.
Said, "Hey, just so you know, I'm out of a job. I'm not looking. I just want you to know if you hear something
Yeah.
and it piques my interest, I'll give you a call, or give me a call and we'll talk."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, I'm just going to try this graphics thing.
Okay.
So I started doing graphics, and within 2 weeks, I was 2 weeks behind, only word of mouth.
Wow.
And then, I mean, it was literally like 3 weeks later, I get a call from who's still a friend of mine. His name is Primo Morato.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, check your fax machine." I said, "Why?" "Yeah, we still had fax machines." I said, "Why?" He goes, "Just take a look at it. I got something in there for you." And I said, "Okay." So it turned out it was a job offer for Scott USA.
Okay.
And this was kind of a dream job I had even when I was back at Parts Unlimited. And for those of you that don't know, Scott USA is a goggle company. Scott Goggles, they're real big now in bicycle. That wasn't the thing then, but goggles. And then partway through my time there, they brought on snowmobile gear, which was Rama used to be a big brand of snowmobile apparel, Gore-Tex.
Mm-hmm.
And they bought that company, or somehow we ended up with it, and it was
Sure.
under the Scott name. And then I did that for, I think that was a 5-year job as well. Yeah. But basically what I did for Scott is travel around to the Supercross and the Pro National Dirt Bike races. And I would go see dealers and make visits and travel with reps. And I was just the Scott guy.
Yeah.
That's, everybody's like, "Well, what do you do?" I'm like, I just be the Scott guy, I guess. Yeah. Give stuff away and sell stuff. And, that was a pretty good gig. I really liked that one. I would probably still be there if all of those jobs were still there.
Sure.
But we could kind of see, it was a European owned company, which I believe it still is. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like, it was hard to tell. We were sales reps is the title they gave us.
Right.
And at the time there was 6 of us, I think. Okay. But we didn't sell direct. We sold through distribution. So it was hard to show what we were doing on paper.
Sure.
We had, I think at the time it was 60% of the market, which there was 8-10 goggle companies at the time. Yeah. Everybody thought Oakley was bigger, but we were way bigger. Wow. And we ended up, they eliminated all of the positions, mm-hmm. all of them. And wow. I was kept the longest because of the snow gear. And I started at the time, throughout this whole thing, actually, I had run a racetrack. So Friday night races, that was our thing. And we had kind of decided,
you were busy.
Yeah, we were busy.
Yeah.
We decided in 2006 to apply to become a KTM dealer. And we got that. So in the fall of 2007, we built a brand new building and we set up as a KTM dealer. And it was at this point now right on my own property where we had the Friday night races. Wow. So you had to come in right past the parts, department necessarily, essentially. Yeah. The KTM dealership was right there. And you drove past that to come into the Friday night races. Yeah. So that was, I was busy for sure. And I moved at that point, I brought all my graphics equipment back to life and had a whole room built in the store for it. And we made all the signage out at the racetrack, which we sold, of course. And then I did vehicle wraps, or not wraps. They didn't really, wrapping wasn't around then like it is now. It was more stickering. Sure. Yeah. So I did a bunch of those jobs, and I do race trailers, race numbers, all that kind of stuff for people. Back when equipment was cheap, it's not that cheap anymore. Yeah, but I did that through 2010, and then ended up selling all of that and had a rough 2010. My ornery old grandma that's never going to die.
Yeah.
She died that year. And, you know, so I feel for your recent loss for sure.
Yeah.
But,
Thanks.
so that was tough. Ended up, I was probably a little too busy because I ended up divorced, and we sold the racetrack and sold the property. So like got lucky, like was able to sell everything instead of lose it. So that was probably a blessing that I didn't see at the time.
Right.
And,
if I remember correctly, maybe was it the other dealership that had all the other brands? They kind of bought okay, all right,
yeah, good catch. So where I started backwashing 4-wheelers and dirt bikes and or 4-wheelers and snowmobiles, they bought me out. They bought all my stuff. They didn't buy the building or the property.
Sure.
But they bought the KTM franchise. They bought all the parts. They bought everything else from me. So, and that was I really feel like he did me a favor. He's like, hey, Craig, here's what I could do to you, but here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm like, fair. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So, so that was a good thing. And I, you know, still get along with that dealership. Great. The owners have since passed away and changed ownership and everything. Yeah. So, but everybody there, a lot of the people are still there. Actually, it's crazy. Sure. You get a cool job, you kind of want to keep it. But yeah, that's what I did up until 2010, and then 2011, I scored another job. You know, kind of decided 1-1-1-1 was a reset button. So January 1st of 2011, I think I made the decision on December 31st that I can't keep living like this, you know, being depressed. And, you know, I had a shitty little factory job that I loved, absolutely loved it.
Sure.
Making like $7 an hour, but it was just piecework to get me out of bed, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I loved it.
It's stable and you don't have to use your brain. And it sounds like with all the things that was going on, that's what you needed to have
exactly what I needed. Yeah. So a friend of mine calls me up. Guy's name is John Petta. If you are in the motorcycle industry, he's like, I don't know, some bigwig at KTM now. I don't know his official title, but he's ahead of a lot of people. Great guy. Calls me up and he says, hey, Craig, I got a job. And this is, I think verbatim is what he said, is Craig, he said, are you ready to come back to work? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, I got 2 people that are looking for somebody and you'd be perfect, but I can't refer you unless I know you got your head out of your ass. And I went, you know, and it wasn't even offensive, right? I totally understood.
Yeah.
And I said, what are they? And he told me. And I'm like, okay. I said, give me 3 days. I want 3 days to think about this, and then I'll get back to you. Because, you know, I had a job, right?
Fair, right?
So I called him back and I said, okay. I said, let's talk. I think I'm ready. And I'm a little more interested in the seat one.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the other one because I'm still friends with that person, and I don't know that they know this from behind the scenes ever.
Sure, fair.
So, like, I picked over them, but not purposefully. So so let's talk about the seat one. He's like, all right, I'll get you in touch. And I don't know, it wasn't long. It was like a couple days, maybe. Okay. And I get a call from this guy named Steve Payton.
Okay.
And he is the man that brought Airhawk to life.
Okay.
So I had no idea what I was getting into. And kind of like, to back it up just a little bit, I had sworn off the motorcycle industry because with everything that went on in 2010, it literally took everything from me. Right. So
that burned you.
Yeah. So that's where both of these jobs were not on the dirt side, because I had come to the realization, well, yeah, that side of the business didn't do anything to me. It was dirt bikes, you know?
Yeah.
So talk with Steve and he's like, okay, this is great. We're going to book you some tickets and we're going to fly you to St. Louis for the interview. I went, okay. Like I got to figure out how I'm going to take time off of my job. He's like, well, you get that figured out and we'll get you down here. And I said, okay, cool. So he flies me down there
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a credit card, right? All I have is my debit card.
Sure.
So I go to rent a car. I reserve my car. It says you need
Yeah.
a Visa, right? I got a Visa. Debit card's a Visa.
Yeah.
And I get to the airport in St. Louis, and she's like, "Yeah, you can't rent a car with that." And I'm like, "What?
What do you mean?
It's a Visa." It's like, yeah, but it's a debit card. So, like, I didn't know there was a difference. And needless to say, she didn't care. She was not renting me a car. And I'm like,
Right.
well, I better figure this out.
Yeah.
So I don't remember Uber or Lyft being a thing. Somehow I took a $90 taxi ride from the airport to where I was going for this job interview. And I got there and I was on like 2 hours of sleep sitting in this job interview, and we're talking and chatting away. And at one point he sits back in his chair and he goes, "How are you doing this?" And I went, "What am I doing? Like, I don't get it."
Yeah.
He's like, "Did you say you only got a couple hours of sleep last night?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, I'd be just cooked."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I don't know. I still sleep on the way home."
Right.
So that was all good. I left. And
that was with Steve directly?
That was with Steve directly, which I missed the interview with Pat. So when I was supposed to fly to St. Louis, they had an ice storm. And he called me up. He's like, "Yeah, they're not going to be able to get you here." He goes, "It's not like Minnesota. When we get ice, everything shuts down. So I'm going to have you meet Pat in Minneapolis."
Okay.
So that was like the first interview was with the guy that would be Steve's on paper boss.
I got you.
And then I made it through him, and then I got to Steve, and then I left with a job for sure.
Sure.
Because he said, he goes, "So, we go down to, you're familiar with the Indy show, which was a huge dealer trade show." Like, yep. And he goes, "So then would you be able to make it to that?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so." Because it was still like 3 weeks away. So I had time to go back and quit my job.
Yeah.
And
give him a notice. Yeah.
And my ex-wife was great as far as ex-wives go. Like, I can't say bad things. Sure. So I had to be like, "Hey, I got this job. I got to go out of town. Is it okay with the kids?" And she's like, "It's fine." Yeah. So went to the Indy dealer show. Yeah. Got back home and then went down to Daytona Bike Week. So it was like seems like there was just a week or so in between.
Yeah.
And went to Daytona Bike Week, and people were swearing up and down that the product was so good. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got into something cool, right? This is that helps when you get these unsolicited testimonials. So, and then after Daytona, I had went into training. I didn't know I didn't know the product at all until after those two events, but it was pretty cool. So
that was trial by fire then down in Daytona.
Yeah, totally.
An unknown product and.
Yep, didn't know anything, but it's all people.
Yeah.
Everything's people, and how you handle people and how you deal with people. So, which I was good there, and he was ecstatic, and we became friends. We're still friends to this day, Steve and I. Yeah. In 2015, the company sold, and I can't say anything negative by court order about the company, but it's not the same product that we had then, and we kind of saw this coming. And the new owner, by way of one of his minions, said, "We don't need you. We can do this without you." And I went, "Oh, okay." Then I swore off the motorcycle industry. Got it. Right. Because now, like, I had this great job, and, Steve was, remember I said they progressively got to be my best favorite bosses.
Yeah.
Steve gave me all of the rope I needed to hang myself and never let me do it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
To this day. Yeah.
And for the awesome. Viewers too, or listeners, at this time, you were the head of sales for North America?
North America. Right? Yeah. North America. So I was responsible for Canada, the United States, and Mexico.
Wow. And they're like, all good.
Yeah. Wow. We're good. See ya.
Yeah.
Peace out. We're gone.
Oh man, yeah.
At the same time, then when I was that, Scott Parman was the European sales manager.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
Yep.
he, same thing happened to him. We had met a couple times.
Yeah.
Didn't really know each other well, but we had met, as
Yeah.
coworkers, that kind of a thing. So we both found ourselves without jobs, like on the same day.
Do you think in hindsight that the product was just so good standing on its own and there was enough word of mouth that they just assumed they can just put it out there and people will buy it now and don't need that sort of follow through? Or
that it would probably be safe for me to assume that was part of it.
Yeah.
I have to watch what I say.
That's fair. That's fair.
I know how much money I was making.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that it was known that I was paid commission.
Okay.
So, but I mean, the name was solid.
Yeah.
I mean, we had products that were phenomenal.
Right.
And for my entire term there, we were building up a specific product that they don't have anymore. And, it was just, it all worked out. I mean, it was fine. I don't want to say too much.
That's fair.
But the name was solid.
Yeah. For my first bike, I had one of their whatever seat cushions. I guess I bought it in probably 2017 or 18. That was the first attempt of trying to find a more comfortable way to be on the KLR and then later the V-Star that I had.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah. So after that, I decided, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Steve made sure I was taken care of with a decent severance. So I, always could have been better, but, take it. Right. I decided I was going to take a month off of work. Okay. And Renee was not so sure about that idea. We were 3 years into our relationship, dating and
okay.
At this point.
So y'all met while you were working at, with Airhawk?
No, we met years ago. Our girls actually were really good friends.
Oh, wow. Okay. So y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. So we met years ago, got together in 2012. And,
okay.
And yeah, it's been great ever since. So
yes,
he wasn't so sure about the month off of work thing,
Yeah.
As anybody, that's scary, right? If you're not in sales, that's a scary position, is to be unemployed.
Sure. Yeah.
For me personally, I'm like, I'll just go get another job. I don't care.
Right.
I'm confident enough in my ability to sell that I feel like I can literally move anywhere and get a job, Mm-hmm. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to do at this point. So I remember there were things I had to get done, so that took up the first week. And then I'm like, this kind of sucks, kind of bored. Sure. I didn't have a motorcycle, like a street bike at the time. I had the dirt bikes, but you don't go riding by yourself.
Right.
And what the heck did I do? I took a drive right down Main Street, Brainerd. I drove from where I lived, west of town, into town, went south on 6th, which is the main street going out of town.
Sure.
Turned around, went back into town, went to the east end of town, and then drove straight back across. And what I did is I just looked at every shop or building or place of employment on the right. And I'm like, yep, nope, yep, nope. Like all the different, what would I want to do? What would I be remotely interested in?
Sure.
Because I really wasn't sure. But every car lot was a yes, I could do that.
Okay.
So I decided, I did that, and then I gave it some thought, and then I kind of ruled out some things like, I don't want to do that. Really don't want to do that. More like last resort stuff.
Sure.
And I happened to walk into the Chevy dealer probably another week later. I think we got let go in May. And it's maybe a couple weeks anyways, but I walked into the Chevy dealer and I was wearing just, yard jeans and a t-shirt.
Sure.
And I happened to know the sales manager, one of the sales managers that were there, the used car sales manager, I think.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, looking for salespeople? Like, what? How does that even work? Like, I haven't applied for a job ever, you know, in so long.
Right.
It seems like, so
At least not in the traditional sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I just went in and I started talking about, you know, a job, and he's like, "Well, who's looking for a job?" And I said, "Me." And he goes, "You are?" I said, "Yeah, maybe, you know." And I get to talking to him, and he hands me this piece of paper, and I said, "A job application?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Do you just need to know that I can write and spell my own name, or what?" I was literally just giving him shit. Like, I'd fill this out. What the hell?
Yeah.
And I said, "I haven't done one of these since I was 15. And at that point, now the new car sales manager turns around like, "Who the hell is this?"
Yeah.
So now it's like just this three-way conversation, and we're just having fun, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And he goes, "You got some time?" I'm like, "I'm unemployed. I got all day."
Yeah.
He's like, "Hang on a second." And then he goes and talks to the finance manager, and then all of a sudden I'm in the finance manager's office.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner, you know how things go full circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
The owner, DJ, comes walking in the office, and he goes, "The hell are you doing here?" I'm like, "Hanging out, talking to these guys."
Yeah.
And one of them goes, "He's looking for a job." And DJ goes, "Well, hire him. He's a good one."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
all right.
I guess that's good, right?
Yeah.
But DJ was the sponsor of my Friday night races when we were first getting started. So way back, years and years prior. So great dude. But anyway, so I leave, and I'm like, I stand up, and I said, "So am I understanding this correctly? I am leaving here with a offer to come back and start work." And they said, "Yeah. You know, can you start tomorrow?" And I said, "No." And they looked at me like, "What?" I said, "Tomorrow's Friday." I said, "You're asking me to work a weekend." And I could start Monday or whatever, but I have to decide if I want to come to work. They're like, "All right, that's fair."
Yeah.
Well, then he calls me back, and it must have been end of May, because I started on the first of the month. Mm-hmm. So I think it was June. So I'd lost my job in May, like early May,
right,
mid-May, somewhere in there. And then when he called me to have me come back to work, he actually called me the next day. You know how a sales guy's supposed to call? So he calls me. He's like, "Hey, you ready to come to work?" And I said, "How about we do the 1st?" I said, "We'll start on a clean month, and I'll come to work then." He's like, "Deal. We'll see you then." I said, "All right." So I did that, and then did that for a total of 3 years.
Oh, well,
and I actually really enjoyed that work.
Sure.
Because, like, again, you're just talking to people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I had real good customer loyalty. I would be at the end, I was in Sturgis, and people would text me and say, "I want to buy this car. When do you get back?"
Oh, wow.
And then I would say, "Send me a picture of your credit card. I'm going to shoot it to the office, and we're going to hold it." And they're like, "Okay, cool."
Sweet.
So it was pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, if you treat people right, that it comes back to you.
It comes back to you.
Yeah. So we get started there, and Scott calls me from Europe, and he's like, "Hey, Craig, I think we need to start our own seat company." And I said, "Not interested. I don't want any part of it." Yeah. He's like, "Oh, come on, this would be great." I'm like, "I'm sure." I said, "But I said, tell you what, I know what needs to be fixed. I know how the design needs to be. I will give you all of that. I will design the cushion for you, but I don't want any part of it. I will give you all of my contacts. I will give you everything it takes for you to be successful. I don't want to do it." And that went on for probably a month, that conversation, because it started pretty much right away in June.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to do it, because I didn't, I said, I want to ride my motorcycle for fun. Yeah. I don't want to work all the time.
Yeah.
And a couple months later, maybe 30, 60 days, I don't remember for sure, but he says, "Hey, Craig, I need you on board. I'll give you half the company." And I went, "Well, half of nothing is nothing." Right?
Yeah.
So I said, "Let me think about this, and we'll be in touch." And needless to say, we started the company and I was 50% owner. And we landed in a lawsuit anybody can Google and find right away as soon as we came to market. And that's why I can't say bad things.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't anyways, because that's not professional, but there are some factual things that I also can't say. And
Got it.
all I can say is I can always say that ours is better. And I can show you why. But so we ended up doing that, and the lawsuit just about killed him. Literally. His doctors say it was the stress, but he ended up with a brain tumor, got super sick.
Yeah.
Weren't sure if he was going to make it, but the conversations then started to happen of, we need to figure something out, because if this thing gets me or you get hit by a bus, we got to figure out what's going on with the company.
What happens next? Yeah.
So
and was he still in Europe at this time?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's where he lives.
Oh, okay.
He's from Missouri.
Oh, okay.
But married an Italian.
No.
So that's where he lives.
Yeah.
And so I think he's an Italian. I don't know if he's a dual citizen or just Italian, but
okay.
Either way, he so in 2019 I went over to the motorcycle show in Milan.
Sure.
And we did the paperwork to buy him out, and it's been my responsibility and back into working in the motorcycle industry ever since.
Here we are. Another full circle. Lots of circles.
Yeah. So that's how Wild Ass kind of became a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess so what year was that when y'all founded it, and then when did you become the owner and CEO?
So it was almost right away, 2015. When we lost our jobs in May, we were talking in July, designing cushions in August.
Wow.
Finalizing designs in September and October.
All this while you're selling Chevys.
Yeah, all while I'm selling cars.
Yeah.
I don't like sleep.
Yeah. Obviously.
So working on this, and then we launched at Daytona Bike Week in March of 2016 on a 6-foot table in the store of J&P Cycles.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's where I guess that relationship kicked off, and I assume you used your previous connections with the industry.
I made a few phone calls and said, hey, we coming out with this product. I'd like to come down and show it to you, because the main distributor that I had been talking to was in Texas.
Right.
And they're like, well, we carry, we already carry that one. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't carry this.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained the difference, and he went, huh. I'm drawing a mind blank right now, but shoot, I feel so bad now. Aaron was his name.
Oh, yeah.
Called, and he's like, yeah, why don't you come and show that to us? So I went down there, and our initial order into the United States was like 225 pieces. And so I go down there, they're like, yeah, we'll pick it up. Then I met with my buddy Marc at J&P Cycles, and they bought all 225 pieces. So like I immediately sold everything. The distributor bought it, made money on it, and literally had to just get it here and ship it back out to Daytona.
Wow.
So that
I can't imagine what it has to be like to have that kind of debt looming from an original purchase order without much capital to work with, and just the sweat that has to create.
Oh, if I only had that stress now.
Oh man.
Yeah, at the time, because it was just me.
Yeah.
Like I was it. There was nobody here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I've doubled the workforce, but I get a ridiculous amount of help from friends and people that come and work events, and just you weren't here for the party. I got to talk.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, I got to talk for the party on the Wild Ass Day.
I was in Saudi Arabia.
That's right. You were off making sure I could still be here.
Right.
We were. I got to tell this at the party, and when you think of the word cult, it's such a negative term.
Mm-hmm.
But really, a cult is just the people going out to do the work of their beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't have to be a negative thing. I said, everybody here in this tent has become my cult. Like when I say I have a cult following,
Yeah.
We're very small following
Yeah.
still, you know, but the people that are out there riding, yourself, all of the mile monsters, like all of these people, they have become my, I say it's a cult following, and it's not a bad term.
No.
In any stretch of the word. It is what it is. And I've been so fortunate to have all of you guys out doing that, to help build this thing like we have.
It's and I imagine anyone else, because you have the mile monsters, all the A.K.A. and long distance riders, myself, so many people across. I mean, Alan Carl, and you know, he had his picture in 2019 with his bike somewhere in Europe, that he shared on his podcast. I don't think any of us would be singing the praises if they weren't warranted. One, for who you are as an individual and what you've done and the kind of, you know, customer service you provide, but then also just like the quality of the product.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I don't take that lightly. And as a healthcare person too, and not to go too deep into the weeds with the science of it, what you bring with the medical grade neoprene built in the ADA compliant facility, what your top seat provides for people, I can appreciate with not only my own fifth point of contact, but you know, it brings joy and pleasure and all the things that we get out of motorcycling, or the use in your desk chair or your flight or your bleacher or wherever you want to use your seat. It extends your ability to do the things you enjoy in life. And that's awesome.
Yeah. We've been so blessed with the stories and stuff we hear. You know, if I could get Renee to record more testimonials, because women tell women things that they're not comfortable telling men. You're aware of that, right?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
It is. And I always say it sounds so gay when I say it, but we literally change the lives of people.
Right.
Which it's kind of like, yeah, whatever, seat pad, right? But it's unreal, the stories we get from people. So my favorite story is one time we were in Sturgis, and I don't know, we're getting a little off of your outline, I'm sure, but there was a girl that came up to me in Sturgis, and she was probably mid-20s, if I were to guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Mid-20s, we'll just say that. I don't think there's no way she was 30. She came up to the booth and she was holding her little dog. Like, I remember this so vividly because this is the most impactful story I can remember.
Yeah.
She comes up and she goes, I wanted to tell you that you talked me into buying one of these last year, which I hate. I hate that. You know, like, oh no.
Sorry.
She goes, this has changed. Like, this has made it so I can ride motorcycles. Like, this has been great. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. You know, now from me, one, this is a kid coming up to tell somebody, thank you, because your product made me ride longer, right? Unheard of. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Would you record a video? And I don't know if you've ever been around when I do that, but when people say, they come up and say that, and I'll say, cool, will you record a video? I'm secretly grabbing my phone out of my pocket and I'm doing this deal with it. And I'm getting the camera ready, right? Because as soon as they say yes, I hit that button. I'm like, great. Boom. Hey, we got Alex here from Greenville. And, you know, like, you've seen that. But that's where all of those testimonial videos come from. And I do it real quickly because I don't want them to get nervous.
Sure.
So as soon as they say yes, game on, we're recording a video.
Right.
If they say no, perfectly fine. I understand it. But she came up, we recorded a real quick video. It was awesome. And then she walked away. And while I'm standing there doing this, recording the video, there's a guy standing, like, I can see him a ways ahead of me. And he's just kind of standing there watching this whole thing. No big deal, right? People are nosy. They want to see what's all the hype about.
Yeah.
So we get done. I thank her again and really appreciate it. And she goes to walk away, and this guy comes walking up. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, I just wanted to tell you that that's my daughter. I'm like, oh, that's great. I can't, kids don't come up and do this. It was just a nice conversation. He goes, no, she's not telling you the whole story. And I said, what's that? I'm starting to choke up as I talk about it. But he says, I ride motorcycles. Her mother rides motorcycles. Her mother rides motorcycle. She rides motorcycle. She got hit by a car. And I don't remember the acts, like the details, but it was pelvis or hip.
Yeah.
But she got beat up bad.
Yeah.
And he says, she couldn't ride at all without your cushion. And I went, really? He's like, yeah. He said, so not only did you make it so she can ride, but this is what we do as a family. These are the things we go out and do together. And you were able to bring all of that back together so we can all go out riding as a family again.
That's phenomenal.
And I'm like, I don't even know what to say, Yeah.
Yeah.
But all over a stupid
I got
seat,
cold chills.
right? And it's crazy. We get stories.
Yeah.
Maybe not that extreme.
Right.
Renee's got the best story that I don't know all of the details, but very similar. Guy came up in a wheelchair, had his cushion, and was just swearing up and down, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And he's talking to Renee, and we're all busy doing our thing. Well, he rides a Spider.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And he and his brother used to go on motorcycle rides. Well, he got into a wreck, so they couldn't continue going on motorcycle rides because it hurt. He just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Now with our cushion, they do it again. So
that's awesome.
It's ridiculous, the stories we hear. Everything from that to, we sell a ton of them to people in cars. Yeah. Road trips. So yeah. Sorry to get off on a tangent. But.
Oh, no, it's fine. Well, and just thinking about my own world in emergency medicine, it's so uncommon for us because we see you, we treat things, and you're out the door. And as long as things are fine, we don't ever see you again. Or that's the hope, unless there's for some other calamity or issue. So we don't get that much feedback as well from the work we're doing on average. But anytime you hear like a success story, and you're able to return somebody to a previous quality of life that they were did not appear to be in the cards for them anymore. Like, that's huge. Just for quality of life and being able to give people that return to activity that's just incredible. I've used mine in my car for long distance road trips. It's my Smart Classic sits in my office chair most days because I now have the other one built for my Pan America. And I'm blanking on the name of it now. You can fill me in. Sport. Yeah, that's right. And that's been great too. I found that when I sit on it, I shift it a little further forward because it doesn't have that same channel groove that the Smart Classic does, which is a game changer. And I've got a funny story about that, and I'll share it with the audience here in a second too, because I was laughing at myself about this. So it's all inward pointing humor. But I found that I sit with my butt a little further back with the seat a little shifted forward so that my tailbone is still off the back edge. So it's not dead center. It's a little shifted forward, but it's been fantastic too. But so my funny story about this is, so this is my Smart Classic, and there's a stripe there in the middle, and I'm like, well, have I ripped it enough? Have I passed enough gas in my seat? What have I done to like make this stripe in the dead center? I'm sure you can see it there now.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and just the other day, I'm like, that is the indention from the channel that doesn't rub on my pant the same way the rest of my hind end sits on it. So that's proof on the outside of the pad of the pudding of what your pad does and provides that relief through that center channel. So it's not that I have destroyed the seat.
Or are you just riding clenched?
Yeah.
You permanently creased it.
Yeah. Really hanging on in those turns, man.
Funny.
That's good stuff.
That's
but
funny.
yeah, so I love being a part of this with you, and I think it's been great. All right, so catch us up to speed to where we are now with your company and influence and growth, kind of looking forward.
I don't understand that question. I'm not much of a business guy. I'm just a bike guy.
Fair.
You know, we've been, like I say, we got all of everybody out there kind of preaching the word for us, which I've gotten so lucky. And a lot of the stories, like the one I shared, or the couple I just shared, we hear those. Well, we hope those people are out telling all of their stories.
Sure.
I'm gonna have to have you re-ask the question, but you know, we just keep, you know, since we started, Tucker Rocky, which was our distributor, they've gone out of business. Parts Unlimited, Drag Specialties, they carry our stuff. So any dealerships, literally any legitimate dealership in the United States can get our cushion through them, or Western Power Sports, who we set up here probably a year and a half ago. Actually, just about a year and a half ago, because their first order would have been available January 1st of 25. So, you know, we've done some things behind the scenes that people don't necessarily see, like I did a whole online training program, which you're wearing the t-shirt of those that got it. So you can, to become an assologist. The t-shirt is no longer available, by the way. No. So, but you know, it's funny because when I was at the Western Power Sports rep show, we're talking to reps, and the guy goes, "I can't believe that training program." I'm like, "Why is that?" And he goes, "It's like a $15,000 program to sell a $50 purse." And I'm like, well, kind of. That's about what I got into it. Yeah. But I mean, it turned out phenomenal. I think it teaches a lot of what I do. You know, and most people, when you sit on a cushion, you know, like I say, you don't even want a cushion, right? Nobody wants one. Yeah. When we go to events, we do a lot of events. We do a lot of marketing that way. But when we go to events, I have to remind the staff that we're not chrome. We're not blinky lights. We're not loudspeakers. We are the product that nobody wants to admit they need. And once they understand it and use it, it's a life changer for even healthy people. Yeah. So, absolutely. But as far as, I don't know, our company influence, I guess I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Just trajectory of things, like what do you see as far as growth of employees or product lines or just anything? Like where do you see your going? What's the 5-year plan? Yeah,
as far as Wild Ass, I'm actively seeking a sales guy right now. Yeah. We've made it, 10 years. I'm the longest employee, right? Right. I think Callie's been with me 7 of those 10. Yeah. So she has a pretty good idea of all the goings on here. Yeah. She's a phenomenal salesperson. Yeah. But I need her here. Yeah. I need her here. I need somebody out on the road selling for me. Mm-hmm. We just had this conversation yesterday, so this is a very real conversation. We need somebody in-house to replace a lot of the work, take a lot of that work off of her plate. Sure. If you've ever asked her what her title is, I do whatever Craig doesn't have time to do. Sure. We need that person for her now. We need somebody in the I always call it the shop. I don't know what the real term is, but it's a shop, right? We need somebody receiving unboxing, building
Right.
product, all of that stuff,
Right. Right.
quality control, everything right now is 99% of it's done by her.
Yeah, because you get the
On
seats,
top
you
of
get the
everything.
boxes, you have to build the boxes, put them in, do a little quality control check, and
Yeah.
then prep them to ship, and then ship them wherever. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
For
when we started, they came boxed and ready to go.
okay,
I was not a fan of not being able to quality control them.
sure,
Um,
sure,
so, and if you ship a box, the boxes are 3 inches thick.
right.
Well, you can ship a lot of flat cushions in bigger boxes and then ship the boxes flat. So, now if we get 9 pallets of product, that would have been probably 2 containers of product.
Wow.
So shipping cost is quite a bit less, right?
Yeah.
But every piece comes individual and every piece gets checked before it gets put into the box. Very rarely is something missed anymore. And our return rate, we're down under 1%. And that's everything, including straps. And that's our weak point. We know our straps suck.
Yeah.
But how do you
make those better?
I
Elastic is hard to
but
replace, and it has a shelf life. It has a wear out date.
The straps are a wear item. So, but that's the only thing that really gives us any issue anymore is the strap. And it like I say, it's under 1% and it counts against the whole thing. So
sure.
Yeah. So we really need probably 2 people here on the Wild Ass side of things.
Yeah.
And then, we have, if we can
shameless plug, anyone watching and you're interested and you want to get to Brainerd.
Yeah.
Or if you're already local. Yeah.
If you're watching this, I'm probably interested in having you here. And I have other products too. I don't have the bandwidth to get them out to market. So I have things ready to go. Like, we got the packaging design. We got everything done. I just need more people.
You need the team to grow to get the manpower to make it happen. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So the next 3 steps are ready to be taken, but we got to make sure we got this one perfected and then we'll move on.
For sure.
And I got to find some people.
Yeah.
And I need another embroidery guy. I had to get rid of one.
Yeah.
Quality
I
is
didn't
a
realize,
big thing.
until we were talking, how much goes as far as time into the embroidery side of things. Just by having to sit there and watch and kind of baby it through not that you're actually having to hand embroider,
Right.
but just running the machines, managing those, like that takes a lot.
It's enough. Yeah. And for those that don't know, I have an embroidery business that's kind of becoming its own business just by default.
Yeah.
Evidently I was not the only person that couldn't find anybody to make my stuff, let alone get me prices.
Right.
So
I think the problem is just in that business, from what I've experienced down here and being in the local motorcycle industry, there's very little people that can do any sort of sewing or patch creation or anything along those lines. And so it's not just the motorcycle industry, it's the community in general, where those jobs have seemingly all been outsourced to big firms, to big companies where you have to have big orders. There's no middle ground for small batch, for small business, for volunteer organizations or other things. I've lucked out. I've got a buddy in the Columbia area that does a lot of my stuff for the veteran motorcycle community, and he's great. But unless you're using him, you're having to reach out and having things made in, whatever country overseas and shipped in. And now we're looking at, well, what sort of extra fees are we going to have with tariffs and whatnot? So it's challenging.
It is, and you talk about not many people know how to run a machine like that. It's not rocket science. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just, it's very intimidating to look at because there's a lot going on, but that's why it's there. That's why the computer's right next to it, is because it's telling it what to do. You just need to keep an eye on it and then get ready for the next stuff. Reload the machine. Piece of cake.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully that'll.
So I need somebody for that too.
Yeah. All right. So we've talked about business ventures. We've talked about what's kind of up next. we briefly talked about your kids before, and we've obviously brought Renee into the picture now, but we haven't really discussed your family at all.
Yeah.
Tell us about being a granddad and doing life. And,
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, I said Renee and I got together back in 2012, and our girls were friends, and evidently they were scheming something up ahead of time, spooling it up, I guess. But yeah, we ended up getting together in 2012, and I don't know, she tolerates me pretty well. I'm pretty blessed right there. She takes good care of me, and like I said, tolerates me and all my shenanigans, and likes to get involved in them. So it's cool. Like we have a lot of fun together, and literally doing anything. You know, sitting on the couch, not doing anything, or going and doing anything. It seems like we just have fun doing it.
Yeah.
So I have 2 kids from a previous marriage. She has 2. So it goes, I have a 32-year-old boy.
Okay.
I have a 30-year-old girl. She's got I think 27-year-old girl and a 24-year-old boy. So it's like, you know, all 4 of the kids get along fantastic.
That's awesome.
Her 2 seem to love me. My 2 love her. It's just like this kind of a perfect dynamic of a blended family, is that what they call them, I guess?
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it's cool. They like the kids all call each other their sisters and brothers, and you know, all the things. I have a grandson that is 12. And then I don't get to see him often, but now that he's 12, he's got a cell phone. We're staying in touch a little more.
Oh, that's cool.
My granddaughter is 4, and she is grandpa's girl, like completely, since she was old enough to know that grandpa was the cool one. And and then my daughter just had, like 18 months, another boy. So now there's 3 there.
Yeah.
And then Renee's daughter has it just got me thinking. Renee's daughter has a girl who is 2 or about to be. I think she's 2. Yeah, she's 2 because we were at her 2nd birthday.
Yeah.
So she is grandma's girl, like completely.
Oh, cool.
And up until 6 months ago, wanted no part of grandpa at all. I mean, it was hilarious. And I don't let it bother me, because that's the way kids are. You know, they'll be like, even your own, like when you have kids, they'll be like mama's little boy for 6 months, won't want nothing to do with dad, and then it'll be dad's for 8 or 10 months, and that'll be mom's for a year, and that's just the way they do.
Yeah.
So, so like nothing, literally nothing. She would be over at our house, we'd be watching her, and Renee would go out to the kitchen to make food, and I'd be on the couch. So I remember this time specifically, I get up and I sit on the floor next to her.
Yeah.
And I'm like 2 feet away, 3 feet away. She started screaming. So out of the kitchen, Renee goes, "What did you do?" What did you do? And I said, "I sat on the floor." She like pokes her head around the corner, just, you know, shaking her head like, "Oh my God." Yeah. But now I said, "I'm not worried. She'll come around," and she's coming around now. So cool. Now I can carry her places, and she'll have conversations with me as good as a 2-year-old can. And so that's cool. And then we have, I want to say it's not another little boy. That's the little brother. So I'm just not saying names is all. I want to say 6 months.
Okay. Oh, so real new.
Not great with the age, but I think like that 6-8 month area.
Yeah.
So little.
Yeah.
So we have 5 grandkids, and they're all great. I mean, love it. Totally love it. So, and my daughter is a 2-time state champion dirt bike racer. Okay. In the woods. Yeah. Her daughter, my granddaughter, is deathly afraid of motorcycles. I'm like, how did that happen? Like, that's not even right.
Yeah.
So I said I was going to Florida here a couple weeks ago to see Pat, and
Yeah.
my granddaughter says, "Well, I want to go to Florida too." And I looked at her and I said, "Yeah, but you don't like to ride on the motorcycle, and Grandpa's taking the motorcycle." And you could see her like went, like maybe I like motorcycles. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, we're getting
there.
her.
You would have liked that butt burner goal that you completed to get there.
No, yeah.
Which well done, by the way. Congrats on
I didn't make the gold. I did not
didn't?
make the gold. No. I think it was just about 1,100 miles first day.
Okay.
7 something the second day, and then on the way back it was a little over 11 something 5. I don't remember.
Gotcha.
I didn't do it.
That's great.
Didn't do it. So, and that's it's funny when I talk to people that ask for advice riding like the A.K.A and that. Yeah. I'm like, you need to be in shape. You need to be in physical shape. Like that doesn't mean 6-pack abs, but you need to be in shape. So I did the first, day was, I think it was 1,090-ish. I can't remember. I posted it on social media. Yeah. And the next day I was exhausted. Like it was all I could do to get my 400 miles in by the time I needed to get the 1,500 in 36. Like it was all I could do to get there. I was pulling over. I had to wake up. I was getting food. I was any reason I could to stay awake. I was exhausted. So I was completely out of shape. Bad, Craig.
Did we stayed the first night together, I believe.
On the A.K.A?
On the A.K.A.
Yeah.
Or maybe, yeah. Because we were all wrapping up and we were in the
field. Yeah, we were at the
turn
of the page. I flipped the page and clipped it down, and you were pulling up.
Yeah.
You and Teeth, wasn't it?
Yeah. Myself and Teach John Westman out of Wilmington. At the weird like bank general store, whatever it was there in the middle of the fields, and it's wild. That's a long day. And then we pretty much stayed neck and neck through that until I broke my foot and slowed down a little bit.
We were leapfrogging pretty much because I had to stop for gas more. We were just kind of leapfrogging each other the whole time. That was fun.
Yeah. Any plans on other long distance challenges in your future? I know we had talked at one time about you considering doing another charity race for your Masonic Lodge there, and the scholarship for maybe like a Four Corners run or at one time.
I've thought of it. First off, I mean, step one, which is now, I need to get back in shape because that was, people don't see that, but it's still embarrassing. I'm like, holy shit, why am I so tired? This is ridiculous. So that's right now's project. And I don't know.
Working on it as well. So I get it.
Yeah, it's not really a priority. Like I have my challenge going right now for Mile Monsters, Craig's challenge.
That's right.
That's people don't realize it's not super hard to ride a long distance day. It's very intimidating. So my challenge is designed to introduce you to this, right? Yeah. Some people, they say they ride all day, and we hear this at rallies all the time. Oh, I ride all day. Well, how many miles will you put on? We'll put on 200 easy. Cool. That's great. Yeah. And I don't judge those people unless they're super arrogant about how far they ride and none of their buddies ride like them. Nobody on the world rides like me. So, I have a funny story about that too. So in April, it was a 100-mile day. Pretty easy. Yeah. Everybody did it. Yeah. I have one that's not reached out to me at all, so I'm guessing she did not. This month for May is a 200-mile day. Still okay. Sometimes we have to have these reality checks. Like we'll go riding with our buddies. We'll be gone all day and we'll get home and be like, oh, we did 180 miles. But we rode all day. So I understand why people tell me that, it is a long day. Yeah. But in June, it's a 300-mile day. In July is a 400-mile day. And in August, it's a 500-mile day. 500 miles is tough for anybody, right? Yeah. Even, I did 1,000 miles. 500 is still tough because you have to plan for it. You can't just get on and go 500 miles. No. You'll run out of daylight. You'll run out of time. You'll not realize that, Oh, it takes a lot longer. You dink around at gas stops and you just lollygag and it's hard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you get good at it, I mean, you can stop, you can see sights, you can do things and still get 1,000 miles in.
Yeah.
But you got to be ready for it.
Right.
So,
yeah, you got to plan your stops.
Yeah. So that challenge is currently going on. So I did decide to enter and be a part of that.
Nice.
That will be repeated next year. We're going to do that challenge again.
Good. Cool.
So you got to pay attention to Wild Ass Wednesdays for that.
That's right.
And then the only real long rides I have, Riot's got the Monster 250 for Mile Monsters, where you pick a state, and then you have 3 days to do 250 miles in those states.
Okay.
I'm going to start a bucket list ride. My bucket list ride is I want to ride all of Highway 2 from the start, which is the Mackinac Bridge, all the way to Seattle, I think. It follows the north end of the country. I know because
I didn't know about Highway 2. I know about Highway 1 because it comes through South Carolina, but I didn't know. Okay.
So Highway 2 is east-west. So it starts
at
Lake Michigan at the bridge, right? There's a St. Ignace is a town on the north end of the bridge.
Okay.
Into the UP, and it goes all the way west to the Pacific Ocean.
Mm.
So I know because of what I do that I'm not going to be able to do that all at once.
Yeah.
So I signed up for 2 days of the Monster 250. And I'm going to do 250 miles in Wisconsin on the first day.
Yeah.
I can either cross up at Duluth Superior where it's not very far, or I can drop down a little bit. So I'm going to follow and I'm going to hit Lake Michigan at the Wisconsin-Michigan border. So I'll get 250 miles to there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to continue that up to the bridge, following Lake Michigan up to the bridge, down into, I think it's Mackinac or Mackinac City. I don't even know the name of the town on the south end of the bridge. And then the next morning, so my uncle's going to do this with me. We're going to head up St. Ignace, start on Highway 2, and we're going to follow Highway 2 from the beginning all the way into Minnesota. So the UP of Michigan will be my second Monster 250. So it seems like it's only 250-mile days, but it's going to be a couple of probably 800-mile days back to back.
Yeah.
So just because of all the things at both ends.
Sure.
But I'm looking forward to Highway 2. That's going to be pretty cool because if you Google map it, it actually crosses into Wisconsin at like 100 and some miles. It's not even 250 miles.
Oh, wow.
But it dips into Wisconsin and goes back up into Michigan.
Huh.
And then, so if I count that to Superior, Wisconsin, or wherever that actually ends, I think it's Ironwood, Michigan, is it's well over 250 miles in the state of Michigan. So that's what I'm going to do.
That's cool.
But check out some sites on the way and see if there is anything to see. I don't even know. I haven't done any research at all. But that's a bucket list ride, and I'll have it done all the way to the Minnesota border. And then I was hoping Renee could come with, but she kind of takes a lot of time out of her real job to come and work Wild Ass events.
Yeah.
So, and being on the motorcycle, just beelining it from place to place, it's not her thing necessarily. Sure. If we're going to stop and dink around and lollygag, she's all about that.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like with me and my wife. Like my wife doesn't ride, being in trauma, has too many spooks in her head from that, which totally get and appreciate because no one wants a skittish passenger on your back end either.
Well, and it doesn't help that you roll up on a crash scene with her on the back of right behind you in a car.
And we caught a pothole and had a front tire or front wheel flat from a bent rim together, and we pulled it over to the side, and then that was super spooky. But we've never had any other major incidents outside of that one. But but
to her defense, that's spooky for the rider too.
Right. Right.
And you're the one that knows that you were completely not out of control.
Right. Man. That was a wild time. And we were en route to go to our buddies. He was buying his bike after recovery from totaling his from T-boning a Honda. And it was a culmination of things. But she'll still come out to events like what you're talking about. And do stuff with us around. She doesn't want to ride from point A to point B because she's just going to follow me. Yeah. But likes the being out and about in the community things, doing those sorts of things. For me, I've got a ride planned. So, I ride with the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association, and our national convention is up in Syracuse, New York this year. The week before one of their, I don't know if it's Americade. It's the first week in June, though. So I think I'll be there the week
Americade
before
is the
you're
last
there.
week of May. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe so it's on the front end then.
Yep.
But I'm trying to plan my route out, and I haven't ridden the states up through the Northeast, but in my brain, I want to go and ride the Blue Ridge Parkway from end to end.
That would be cool.
And so that'll be a slower route, but then from there, go up to Maine and then back down to Syracuse. So that should be like a fun week trip, and then we'll just beeline it home after the actual convention meeting and the important official stuff.
Taking some notes. The Blue Ridge Parkway was on my list too.
Yeah, it should be on everybody's list. It's a slow route.
Craig and Renee ride because it would be nice and slow, lots to see. Beautiful, scenery. No matter what time of year you're on it. For those listening, it does shut down at a certain part in winter due to snow because they don't clear the road. They'll just lock it down. And so once spring rolls back around, they open it all back up. But yeah, little towns all along the way for you to pop off to and enjoy or find a rest stop. And yeah, it just beautiful scenic byways, 45 miles an hour, big, long sweeping turns through the valleys, through tunnels, through all sorts of things. And yeah, a lot of history out there. It's just beautiful. So I've done sections along the way, but not just like from end to end, and excited about that potential. But cool.
With you and just back to like the last 5 years, I know you've had the Road King that you rode the 2001 Road King for the A.K.A. You've had this GS and you did some GS trophy stuff out with those trials, which was phenomenal to get out there to watch you make those challenges happen. Like that's some awesome technical skill riding.
That's right. You got to see that. You were there in person. Yeah.
So I live about 20 minutes from.
I was just saying, I stayed at your house, and it was like a 20 minutes to get there.
Yeah. So not far at all. And if you are a GS rider, participate, check it out, test yourself, because it's really cool to see all those riders out there doing the things together and the community built out there. But I hear you may be getting out of your GS, selling that.
Yeah, with any luck. I'll be selling it here in about 45 minutes.
Okay.
They have it's a phenomenal bike.
Yeah.
Love it. Mm-hmm. The GS they're way more capable than anybody I know that can ride, except for the coaches out at the training facility in Greer.
Right.
They'll do whatever you want them to.
Yeah.
I've cleared tabletops on dirt bike tracks with it. I've climbed some kind of amazing stuff out in the Black Hills with it. But it's just a great big adventure bike. They're not doing the GS Trophy anymore, which was a competition.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they did away with it last year. The only reason I kept the bike was for that.
Okay.
It's not a good 2-person bike.
Right.
So other than the trophy competition, I really didn't use it much. Last year I put 80 miles on it total, 80, maybe 83. I only know that because I had to report that for taxes, and that was just a few weeks ago. So, but I just don't use it. It's not a 2-person bike. I thought it would be more than it is, but when you have a 2001 Road King where your wife's 18 inches off the ground, to where she's 3.5 feet off the ground or whatever. I mean, it's high, right? It's a big, tall bike.
Difference. Yeah.
And what I didn't realize, yes, the bike rides way better, but the rider of a GS is completely encased in this bubble where there's air, especially the adventure. So going down the highway, it's not windy. You can wear your baseball cap. It doesn't come off. It's phenomenal. But all of that wind goes around the rider right directly into your passenger. Oh. She didn't care for that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And understandably so.
Yeah.
But when you lean over on a motorcycle, like you
Mhm.
lean into a corner,
Sure.
because you know the deal. When you're going slow, you lean over too to make the corner sharper.
Right.
Well, she's not dropping 8 inches. She's dropping a foot and a half.
Yeah.
From straight up to that lean angle.
Yeah.
It's like way down there, and it's like, oh man, yeah, she didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
Fair.
I don't blame her. I understand it completely, but
Yeah.
I don't. My days of riding by myself, I'm really not interested in that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going out to ride with the guys, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Much as people think it would.
Right.
And with my line of work, my weekends, I'm kind of busy doing other things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and if I'm gone all week or gone doing work things and she's not with me and I get back home and I'm home for a weekend,
Mhm.
I'm not going riding with the guys.
Yeah.
I have no interest in that. She'll jump on the back and we'll take the Road King somewhere. That's just,
Yeah.
I would way rather do that.
Road King or
Well, yeah, now this last fall, I
yeah.
added one to the stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
funny because
she's a Butte, Clark. I mean, like
I really like it. It's a 22 Road Glide.
Yeah.
My dream bike since 2015. When that fairing came out, I fell in love with the Road Glide. And I've wanted one ever since. Yeah. And but I'm a business owner, so I'm going to keep riding what I got because I can't afford a new one.
Right.
Well, still can't afford a new one, but I found a really good deal on a used one, not far from home. And I'd kind of landed on black. I wanted a black one because I could put some yellow on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw this gray one. It's called Gunship Gray, I think.
Sure.
So it's no metallic, and it's not the light gray, but it's just gray, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not matte. It's not a matte finish.
Got it. Yeah.
And I kind of like it better because I have one piece that I'm going to have say Wild Ass on the bike.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be branded at all. And you're going to have to look for it to see what says Wild Ass. Mm-hmm. So, if you're watching the show or listening, Clockworks makes front fenders. A lot of people don't realize that. So Brian sent me a fender and had it painted by Factory Match in South Dakota. And on the front, it says limited, right? And it's that kind of that font that Harley uses for the word limited on the front fenders.
Yeah.
Well, you see those automotive places that make custom words, right? And I'm going to put Wild Ass right there. And that's it. I'm not, and it'll be black and I'm not doing anything else.
Nice.
Other than the cushion. So,
yeah. That's right. That's okay.
So no stickers on it. It's just our riding bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Not putting anything on it.
I've been stickering up the the pannier boxes on my Pan America now. And of course I have plenty of Wild Ass rep on there, but some other things too. And it's fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Stickering is fun. The BMW is pretty stickered up. Just the tour pack or the top case, it's called on a adventure bike. Yeah. That's all stickered up on the outside from where it's been and on the inside from my friends. Yeah. And I'm going to ask the guy, I'm going to let him have all of it. You can have all them stickers. I'll point out some of them and it'll be cool. But Road King's got, it had my race number on it, 32. But I had to put the Hoka number on the side that I made look like a number plate with the sponsor decals, or it's all painted in. And it's Wild Ass, definitely the Wild Ass bike. It's
for sure
branded. So
so I assume that'll still be the bike you take to your events since it's all branded up.
Yeah, like we're gonna do some riding from Americade, so we're bringing the Road Glide to that one.
Nice.
Probably have both of them in Sturgis because we have a couple booths. And the Road King, it's got 91,000 miles on it, so we need to get it to 100. And believe it or not, I really like riding that bike locally. It's
cool. Yeah,
like 200 pounds lighter.
Yeah,
I'm not a big guy,
right? So
it's way lighter, and it just feels like home. It feels like a mini bike after riding the Road Glide. It's ridiculous.
I'm sure.
Nothing to it. It's all motor.
If I would have had room in the garage for 2 bikes, I would have loved to have had the Pan America for something more multifunctional, utilitarian, and kept my pursuit that our illustrious Brian Croft has now. So I'm
Yeah,
so glad that he's been so pumped with it.
he
It's been great
loves
to
it.
watch him.
He loves that bike. It's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah, yeah. So thanks for helping make
Absolutely.
that happen and putting us together. So that was
Yep, absolutely.
good stuff. So for I know you've got to get ready for your BMW date here shortly. But I do have, in the same vein of your previous episodes, 5 questions for you.
Oh God.
So I want to I want to see what your thoughts are on them, and some of these
So,
you go ahead.
what's funny about these 5 questions is when I was doing the podcast only in audio, you can edit that in every one of those. If there were like some people, there was a minute and a half between the question and the answer. This is not being edited, my friend. This is going on like it is. So
Well,
I wasn't sure if you were going to do
so,
this. So I tried not to give it any thought
we
because
can
I didn't
try.
want to hear this.
And if you feel like, man, I really need to think on that, then after this drops, take a moment, and then the next Wild Ass Wednesday, update us. Like, hey, there's that question. But a few of these, like 3 of them are variations of questions that you've asked, so you've had some time to think about them. So I'm not totally playing stump the chump here. But yeah, so let's see what we have here. So first question. So back to biking in general and motorcycles, and you've ridden all sorts, from dirt to adventure to long distance touring bikes. Besides your ass pad, what is one thing on your bike that has made a significant difference in your ride?
Handlebar mounted phone.
Yeah. Yep.
And I tell you that because I always safely pull over to use my phone.
Yeah.
But what a difference that made on this last trip when I rode down to Florida and back is my phone was tucked away in the dash because on the Road Glide, you got the pockets on both sides.
Sure. Yep.
And the phone was tucked away in there where I couldn't get at it. So I prefer it mounted on the handlebar where I can get at it.
Yeah. Do you have I know some of my friends use Rockform. I have Quad Lock. I know that Clockworks has their own variation of things. I probably would have tried it out if I didn't have all my stuff already quad locked out, and then I have to change everything to make that work. So sorry, Brian. But do you have a preference or a style that you like?
I think so. On the BMW, I have the Ride Power one where you put your phone on it, and I tighten it, and then I actually put the little rubber straps in it because I had my phone fall off. But it's, I don't know what that's called, convectional charging or whatever. That's part of it, where you put your phone on it and it starts charging, whatever that's called.
Right.
Contact charging, whatever.
Contact wireless.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
With the Road Glide, however, I have the older one, and I had Apple CarPlay turned on, which is by far the best money you can spend if your bike doesn't have it.
Yeah.
If you're a map follower, right? Or I was watching radar. If you were following my social media, I had the radar up on the screen quite a bit coming home because I was storm dodging. But weather radar, not police radar.
Yeah.
But as for the Road Glide, that's going to take some thought. I think I want to go with the Clockworks one. I love the way it mounts. I like the way it holds your phone, the tether, the whole thing. Yeah. The only thing I have to keep in mind when I do this is because of the bike's a 22, Apple CarPlay is corded. So like in my van now, you just, if the phone's within Bluetooth range, Apple CarPlay fires up automatically.
Sure.
So it's got to be corded. So I got to figure out where I'm going to put the phone and how I'm going to mount it so I can see it and keep the cord attached. So
I know there's some folks
out on that one. I like the one from Ride Power, but I don't need the charging if it's plugged in.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he's got when we see him next.
Yeah. I know there were some folks with Indians that had issues with their CarPlay. And back we were trying different things with little Bluetooth dongles that your phone would connect to, and then it would be plugged into the cord that would actually, so it would, you would have a transmitter basically connected into your
Yeah.
phone that would, or no, pardon me. It was a transmitter that plugged into the corded part, and your phone would connect to that via Bluetooth. So you wouldn't have to have a cord to your phone. You'd have no wire there, but then this little box basically would plug into,
Yep.
and that would be like shoved in the dash somewhere. But yeah, there's options out there. I'm sure you'll sort it out. You're
Yeah,
smart
I'll
guy.
figure it out.
Yeah. All right. So here's one direct from your playbook. What's something you believe in or about that the rest of the world may say is crazy?
I've never had an answer for this. um, oh man. I guess the first thing that comes to mind is I do not believe you can multitask
Yeah.
and be effective.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
I know I have a hard time with it, and I'll be doing something, and my wife will be talking to me, and she was like, "You're not listening to me." I'm like, "Sure, no, I wasn't. You're right.
right.
I'm sorry."
Yeah. I mean, it's no matter how hard I try,
Yeah.
you know, it's just not. I don't believe it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So, and you know, you hear it, right? Like you have your mind coaches and these
Mm-hmm.
people out there that say you cannot, like your body does not let you do two things at once. You're
Right.
doing half of something and half of something else.
Right.
But
yeah, it's definitely not 100% of both things.
Right. Like you can do laundry and wash dishes at the same time if you have a dishwasher and a laundry machine going.
Sure.
So
That's
anything's
good.
possible with assistance, I guess.
Yeah. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given? And this could be motorcycle or otherwise.
Oh, this one's easy. So the question, if you're getting it out of my playbook, was regarding riding motorcycles.
It was. That's why I was like, let's open it up. Maybe it's bikes, maybe it's something else.
Yeah. So in regards to, so I can answer it for both if you want, but
yeah, sure.
In regards to riding motorcycle, my uncle Sil was a motorcyclist. Mm-hmm. I had a motorcycle early on, probably my first one actually. He advised me because it had a single headlight, you know, like a, I don't know, like a Virago, all those bikes, older bikes, they'll have, and Street Glide for Christ's sake, they all have one headlight.
Yeah.
He said during the daytime, always run your high beam. And I said, really? He goes, yeah. I said, well, not going to make people mad? And he said, they're only going to be mad if they see you. Right?
Yeah.
So I've experimented with this. I've done posts about this. And actually I thought of doing another post again, just because I think it's a good refresher for people. But of like my brother's got an old, like a 98 a 98 Softail.
Yeah.
It's still got the original headlight in it. Right.
Wow.
So my last post was that headlight next to my Road King Custom Dynamics headlight.
Sure.
But when I did it, I did the Road King or the Softail headlight.
Yeah.
And then the Softail headlight on high beam. And the difference is drastic. Yeah. And when you ride with people in your rearview mirror, you'll see it. You know, even if people listening and watching this,
sure,
ask your buddies behind you, say, hey, you should run with your high beam on. Because when they put their high beam on low, they disappear. It's the craziest thing. Or with their passing lights. I had a buddy that never ran his passing lights in the daytime. And I said, I'm going to follow you for this next stretch. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to shut him off and I'm going to turn him back on. And you tell me if you notice a difference. And it's unreal. Yeah. So being seen is going to keep you from a lot of people pulling out in front of you, if nothing else.
Yes.
But, and yeah, they can only be mad at you if they see you. and
That's right.
at which point that's a good thing. So
That's right.
riding
right.
your high beam in the daylight was a good one. Now so many people we know have friggin' semi-truck load of lights on the front of their bikes, but
Right.
And I can tell you, after Custom Dynamics took my bike from me and did all that lighting on the front, I have never had anybody, knock on wood, pull out in front of me yet. So, we see it as bikers. You pull up, you're going down the road, you see a guy pull up to the intersection, and he always lurches forward even just a couple inches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they like let go and then they go, oh, wait, because they saw you. That lurch has not happened since I put all those lights on. Awesome. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the other piece of advice that I've gotten that might be the best ever was from Brian Clock on my podcast.
Okay.
His best piece of advice was, or maybe he didn't even say it as, maybe it wasn't one of his questions, but it was no sudden movements. And it applies to everything, but it really applies to motorcycling.
Right.
So, yeah, everything. A sudden movement is nothing more than a reaction in most cases. And if you don't react, things always work out better.
Right.
Not always. I mean, sometimes you got to duck so you don't get hit by something, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's sometimes that a direct reaction is needed in certain situations. But by and large, similarly in the world of medicine, you always look for the coolest head in the room, because that's the one that has the ability to think through things. And that's what they push us to as directing medical care in extreme situations, is breathe and take a moment, pause, and how much we can use that in our life, just in general, in all things. When someone says something that gets under your skin, when you name it, that's worthwhile advice. Well said, Brian. Maybe I'll consider your handlebar mount after all.
See, you didn't make a decision, so you didn't make a sudden movement. You can still make that change.
That's right. All right. 4. What's the most important thing you've learned about life as a small business owner?
Same thing. No sudden movements. Man, that's a good one. The most important thing I've learned about life is you really have to step back and think, is this going to affect me in 12 months, 5 years, 10 years? There are a lot of little things that you can't, it's not worth your time to worry about. There's a point where you sound pretty arrogant to somebody that doesn't realize what you're saying until they understand where you're coming from. Does that make sense? I don't let a lot of things bother me anymore. And I've kind of learned that at a young age. I'm still probably a little over passionate, I'll get pretty hot headed quickly. But I've gotten a lot better at not.
Sure.
So,
it also kind of relates back to Brian's thing with no sudden movements, but then also the question of, is this sustainable? Is it worthwhile to have these reactions? Is it worthwhile in the long run? Just in my last few years too, not being a small business owner, I'm like, is this my priority? Or how will it, working at this pace and doing these kind of things for this amount of time, is that something that I can realistically do? And it sounds like, we're kind of in the same place, in the sense of, you looking to grow the business, but recognizing you need additional hands and manpower to make things happen. And you're setting goals for yourself and figuring out what that looks like, and how does that affect your ability to be a spouse, dad and granddad, and all those things are, important. Good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
I had to think, why is this bothering me?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
Mm-hmm.
they want access to something. Okay. And it's not business related. And
Sure.
I'm like, why does this bother me? Because it shouldn't. Because if it bothers me, am I making it about me?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because really, what do I care? I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Cool.
Let that ship
That
sail.
was 4 questions already.
That was 4. There's one
Jeez.
more. Last one. What do you do with your life that makes you feel at this moment most alive?
Ride motorcycle.
Yeah.
I mean, by far.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Good.
The cool thing about it is so it takes a while, right? When
Yeah.
I don't get to leave on the motorcycle and not think work. It takes me a while. So,
Fair. Yeah.
I just this morning I ordered the shock bolts for my dirt bike. I think that's very much a not work related motorcycle that I think I need to put a little corner track in the backyard and
Yeah.
just go
Is
out
this
there
the one
and
you had rebuilt, the KTM?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So it's just, I mean, I love watching the supercross races this year, especially. They have been phenomenal. Like every time you turn on a race, you are not falling asleep. I am up way too late at night watching the races because they are way too good. So yeah, I need to probably get my dirt bike out and just I don't need to go back to a track.
Yeah.
I was asked when I was announcing the other night, like, why didn't you bring your bike?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know better.
Because you wouldn't
It
have
looks
me
too
announcing. I'd be out on the track.
right. Yeah, it looks too pretty in the garage. I'd just maybe ride it around the backyard where I'm just going to drop it a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
So
Nice. Very cool.
yeah, definitely
Well,
that. So I think if I can get back on that, we'll see. It might be my happy place for the summer. Just if I can get out there
yeah.
6-7 nights this summer, just
Yeah.
make a nice little corner track, working figure eights and,
Sure.
stuff where you're going to fall over, but probably not get hurt.
That's an awesome thing to. I was sitting on my mom's pier last night with her for Mother's Day and my brother, and we were out fishing late at night and just enjoying the peace and being out there in our space and sharing that, like, going, man, this is nice. I wish I had this in my backyard. But similarly, man, I wish I didn't live in a subdivision and could put a dirt track in my backyard. That's a cool thing that you'd have to be able to just get out there and get some things out and work on skills and play for yourself in a lower risk, versus having to drive somewhere and haul your bikes to get there and do all the
things. Yeah.
So.
Yes. And I love working on skill stuff. Like it drives Renee nuts. I do some stuff on the motorcycle, drives her insane. And it's stupid shit. Like when you're going down the road, and she understands it now because I've pointed it out. But when you're going down the road and it's a paved road, you know where the seam is in the middle of the road. You ever ride on that seam?
Oh yeah, it's weird.
Purposefully ride on it.
Right.
Like your bike's very unstable.
Right.
Because each side of the tire can't figure out where it's supposed to go.
Where it's supposed to go. And
I
each
do
side
that
is losing traction as it shifts back.
Yeah. So it feels like the bike's going to get away.
Yeah.
And I'll do that purposely all the time. It's like, why do you do that? I'm like, just playing, just practicing.
Yeah.
Well, we've had a couple situations now when we started riding, and if the bike could get loose, you hit a tar snake or whatever, the bike gets loose and bam, she tightens up. Like, which you can feel it as the rider. Sure. So this last summer, a couple times she'll just go, "What was that?" I'll be like, "You notice how I'm always riding down the middle of the road and it drives you nuts?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's because right there you didn't notice anything. Like you just relaxed through it and everything was fine." Yeah. So I do that stuff. Or we went riding with Dylan and Misty here last summer, and we were at a parking lot where there was a curb, and then the parking spaces were perpendicular to the curb.
Sure.
So we would pull up to the right side of the right spot,
right,
and then stop, take off, go into the spot, whip a U-turn, and come back out. Right. But without touching, you can do it in 2 spots, right? That's what they say is better than average.
Right.
And we just do that half dozen times each way. She's like, can we be done now? So that kind of stuff, I guess, that makes me feel alive. Knowing that you can do it. The road glide, it's gonna take some work. I got the 2-lane U-turn.
Nice.
We nailed that in Arizona. I'm like, hang on. She's like, oh God, but we got it. Not super smooth, so I need some work on that, but
sure,
it'll come.
It's different moving 1,000 pounds and 2 bodies in a tight space.
But it's so important to know those things.
Oh God, yeah.
How many times on the A.K.A. did that come in handy?
More times than we wanted it to.
Right?
Yeah.
So doing any of that stuff on a motorcycle, and that's where I'm in it. I love it.
Yeah. I actually just spoke with the leader of the motorcycle safety course for my base down at McIntyre here in South Carolina, and they're needing instructors for their motorcycle safety foundation courses, and they send you to the instructor course, and then it's paid for by the military. It's retirement points. I'm like, wait, the military wants to pay people to go ride bikes and get better at those things, the slow speed maneuvers, and teaching people how to ride safely? I'm like, I'll do that. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
So,
I looked into that here a couple of years ago. I was going to do it, be an instructor, but the amount of time. I was all for it. And Renee goes, wait a minute. How many weekends are you home? And I'm like, figure it out. And then she goes, how many weekends is it not raining? Well, then you figure that out. Okay, if you do this, how many weekends are left? And I went, if I'm even home for all of them. So it just doesn't work. But
it may be challenging for me too, but it's a cool potential, maybe something. Well, with that, I think that kind of brings us to now. I guess I can ask you the question. So, where do people find you if we're going to look for you?
Wild-ass.com is the website, or I am at Wild Ass Craig on all the socials.
Okay,
so
that's it. I know where you are. You know where I am. It's been fun to do this with you. Thanks for letting me play along and dig deeper in with you on life and what has created this man that you are out there in the wilds doing things. Any last closing thoughts that you want to share with the audience?
I don't know, man. Just stay positive. In a world full of negativity, shut the TV off. Go hang out with your friends.
That's right.
Everywhere we travel, everybody's cool. It doesn't matter who they are. Right. Just have some fun. Enjoy the time with the people you have, because you don't know how long you have with them. And, you hate to end on a negative note with anybody.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's finite and it's fleeting. So get out there and make the most out of it. Perfect. Scrubs, you're a natural. Hey, I appreciate it. It's going to turn this into the Scrubs cast. Well, we can do some future stuff. We can talk about it. But for sure. It's been good, man. Thanks for letting me be a part. But absolutely. Take care, be well, and we'll see you on the road. All right. Thank you all. Thanks, guys.